Hi folks, my name is Tim Kennedy and I'm here to discuss with you real quickly about your maintenance to your air conditioning system. If you were to call us to provide maintenance, normal maintenance on air conditioning would be to check all the controls, make sure that everything is in good working order, to clear the condensate drain because the condensation the drain line needs to be cleared every year or every other year at the most. The outdoor condenser should be kept clean, and our technicians can show you how to do that on your own with the power off. You simply take a spray hose with a high pressure sprayer and you keep the pollen and everything off the fins, let it dry off, and then you can turn it back on hours later. One of the most important things though is that, well, people don't tend to get anything serviced on heating or air conditioning equipment. They fear the cost, let's say, but they usually run it until something conks out and then they're forced to call for service. I wanted to point out that air conditioning runs with a freon gas. There's supposed to be a certain amount of gas in the system. Now, let's say that the technician has come to your house and there's a lack of cooling and he decides that there is not enough coolant, freon gas inside your system. Well, that should not happen because a tight system should be able to go 20-25 years and hold the same pressure of freon gas. It's a sealed system. So what we have to do, if we put gauges on it, we determine that it's low on freon gas. We're not allowed at that point to just add freon and walk away. We have to, by law, conduct what's called the leak check. We have to check your outdoor unit, the copper lines, the braze joints. We have to follow the lines inside to wherever they go, to your furnace in the basement, to a coil, or up into the attic. Now, sometimes we can find out what's leaking. Sometimes it's a very minute leak and it's not traceable. It's undetectable. Now, it may have taken years and years and years to lose the freon. So it's so minute, it's not detectable. At that point, if it's undetectable, we're allowed to add freon and then you would have to monitor it. Obviously, if you have to put freon back in it again another 3 months later or next season, then there's some problem that has to be uncovered. Now, let's say that we do a leak check and we find that something's leaking. We're going to give you a price to do the leak check, and then if we find nothing, we'll give you a price to add the freon, the amount that you need, and that's the end of it. But let's say that we find a leak. Well, we'll only charge you for the leak check, and then we're going to tell you what the problem is and what it would take. Now, sometimes it's tightening a valve that you could put a wrench on, and that's free of charge. But sometimes a brazed joint, it needs to be repaired. The only way to do that is to drain out all the freon, remove it, make the repair to the pipe, vacuum it out or create a vacuum and suck out all the moisture, then retest it with nitrogen. If it holds pressure, we know we fixed the joint. Then we put the freon back in the system. Your existing freon gets returned to your system. Now, that whole process can be involved and can cost several $100s. The technician will quote you on that. But then we guarantee any of the work that we did, any joints that we fixed, anything that we corrected, that's what's guaranteed. You're not buying an insurance policy for the rest of the equipment. And obviously we're not going to, if the system is not holding pressure, we're not going to put the freon back in. We're going to do the best that we can. So if you look at the air conditioning invoice, there's paperwork that explains what I just said briefly, and you're going to be asked to initial it and understand this whole process. Condensate drains that leak, sometimes an air conditioning drain line that carries the water away over the winter will freeze and crack. Well, we can never be sure. If we find a cracked pipe, whatever we find that's broken, we can repair it for you. But again, it's not an insurance policy. If there's a break somewhere else down the line and we can't find it, it's in an attic, it's buried under insulation, you'll have to deal with it on a basis as we find it to make a repair. That usually doesn't happen. It's usually something that we detect the problem, make the repair, and everything goes well. So we've made this video to explain it a little bit easier for you. Here you have the owner of the company explaining it, which sometimes things get lost in the translation from some of our technicians, varying experience. And I'm not saying I know everything, but I've done it for 38, 39 years now. And it is my company, and I have a certain procedure that I'd like followed by all my technicians, and that's why we created the video as well, so that we all do and say and perform the same things. And I think that's a good goal to have, is to be consistent and to treat all our customers the same. And if you have any questions that the technician or the office cannot answer, feel free to call me. My name again is Tim Kennedy, and the number is 860-883-5849. Thanks and have a nice day, and thank you for choosing Kennedy's.